Hey everybody, it's Kim Danke. Sorry for being on here a few minutes late. On Facebook, my role, they allow you to be admin or editor or these different things in the Facebook group. It would not let me broadcast live to Facebook. So it took me a second to get that working. So finally it worked, but somehow I had gone from admin to editor, meaning it wouldn't let me do a live broadcast. So thank you for your patience. Hey, Angela, if you are on the Facebook page, please take a second to say hello, just like Angela did. Hey, Patty, thank you for tagging your friends. This is important information, so thank you. If you are catching this and you don't know what this is, I'm going to be teaching simple food combinations tonight for weight loss and health. You can get a Shibboleth membership at www.shibbolethdeals.com. It is currently $69 for a lifetime membership until the special that we had running, our memberships run out. So grab your membership while you can at $69, and that's a lifetime. Hey, Laurie, glad you're here. Thank you for saying hello. If you are in the Zoom room, please find your chat button. Whether you are on your phone or on a computer, you'll see a chat button. Where it says chat, click where it says all panelists, and then choose the option for all panelists and attendees, and then say hello. Thank you, Valerie. Hey, Valerie, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Amy. Hey, another Amy, different Amy. One Amy on Facebook, one Amy here in the Zoom room. Hey, Deb. Hey, Tori, glad you're back. Hey, Melanie, and hey, Melanie, Larry and Melanie. Hey there, glad y'all are here. That's awesome. Thank you for joining me. Let's see who else we've got in here. And Connie and Renee, awesome. And Vicky, hey, Vicky. Okay, I'm glad y'all are here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hey, Teresa. And first of all, I want to say, if you did not watch last night's webinar, please go back and watch that. Not before this, you can still watch this one. If you're here, stay with us and you can watch it. But what I'm going over tonight is one part of the lifestyle overview. And last night, I went over the whole lifestyle overview. What can I do today to start living this lifestyle type thing? I did that last night. This is one full hour on food combinations. Okay. So glad you're here. And I'm not sure, did I say hey to Stephanie yet? If y'all have come in and if you want to type any questions, it's helpful if you type any questions, if everybody can read it at one time. So check your chat button and make sure that it says all panelists and attendees next to your name. Okay. I'm going to get us all set up. I'm going to be going over a website called the Fast Track website. The Fast Track this little website, this simple food combining, it's linked on the Shibboleth main page. That's a great question. Betsy, why don't I go ahead and answer that? I'm going to come right over here. I'm going to go into the Shibboleth main website. Everybody that's here and everybody that's new or restarting should do this. If you are brand new and you're just now logging in, it should take you directly to Fast Track. But if you've gotten off of Fast Track, to get back to Fast Track, all you do is click Dashboard at the top. And if your page shows up to the instructors page, you need to click Fast Track right over there to the left. But if you're brand new, it should show up to Fast Track right away. But if it doesn't, just click on it. And then in lap 2, Betsy, right here where it says watch the daily Fast Track webinars, there are 7. When you click right there, there's last night's webinar. And I just want to show y'all something else. When you click on last night's webinar and it pulls up the video, right underneath it is that PowerPoint presentation that I used. Okay, so this right here is the PowerPoint presentation. So if anybody was wanting to reread that or look at that again, it's right there, okay? So hopefully you can find that, Betsy. So you click on dashboard, make sure you're on fast track, and then in lap 2, it will say, watch the 7 nightly webinars. Okay. But tonight, I am going to use another, you're welcome. I'm going to use a different website tonight, but it's right here. There it is. See where it says simple food combining? Do y'all see that right there? That is the link to the website I'm going to use tonight, which can actually help you build meals and things, okay? So that's what this is right here. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go over cooking oils and fats, and then I'm going to go over condiments just to kind of get those things out of the way. I'm only going to do those one time, and then I'm going to come to a new category. Category 1, I'm going to read out all the foods that go in that category. But I'm not going to reread that every single time. I'm only going to read it when we get to a new category. Hopefully, those of you that were with me last night, if you wrote down 1 through 7 at the top of your paper, as I'm reading out foods tonight, if you like those foods, write them down under the category that they come from. You can also print this list too, but I believe it's really important for us to physically write down the things that we like, rather than just having a bunch of gobbledygook, like, okay, I like this, I don't like this. Just write down the ones that you like. If you weren't with me last night and you do have paper with you, write 1 through 7. You might want to give some space for writing foods underneath it, but you need 1 through 7 there, okay? And it'll help you if you hear foods that you like to put them under the right category number. All right, so cooking oils and fats. We can use 100% MCT oil, coconut oil, ghee butter, or 0-calorie cooking spray. These are the oils that we will use. You'll notice that olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, and no other type of oils are listed on that list. So we prefer that you use 100% MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride. Oh, and I want to start off by saying, I don't know if I said this last night or not, but when you're learning this lifestyle, I need you to forget anything that you thought you knew about nutrition. I had to do the same thing because I'd studied a lot of stuff, and I knew a lot of information, but it didn't come together in a nice little package like Shibboleth did. Oh, if I do these things, it works, which it does. But forget anything that you thought you knew about nutrition, because if you hang on to that, it's like you've brought baggage into the lifestyle. Okay, so just forget that and do what this is. 100% MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides. What you're probably using before Shibboleth, olive oil, canola oil, stuff like that, those are long chain triglycerides, LCTs, long chain triglycerides. MCT oil has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. Long chain triglycerides have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat. Ding, ding, ding. Which one do I want to use? I want to use the one that has the least propensity to be stored on the body as fat. So since I've started Shibboleth, I have never bought any other type of oil. Hey, Shirley Grant, glad you're here. I love what Patty says. Forget it. This is so much better than anything that you can imagine. It truly is. Patty, tell them how much weight you've lost. I would love to know that. Okay, coconut oil is also an option, but it is 66% MCT oil. Okay, it's not 100% MCT oil. How do you get 100% MCT oil? You take all of the MCTs out of coconut oil, and therefore you're just using the MCTs. So it's basically like you've clarified some coconut oil and pulled out only the part that you really, really wanted. Patty's lost 86.5 pounds, y'all. Congratulations. That is awesome. And she is helping so many other people do it too, which is wonderful. And then you can use ghee butter. Ghee butter is 40% MCTs. So obviously the one that's 100% is the best, but you can also use those others too. I like to use ghee butter when I need the butter flavor. I use MCT oil when I am cooking a lean protein, whether that lean protein comes from category 1 or category 7 shellfish, I will use that. A lot of times though with shellfish, people will use ghee butter because they like that butter flavor on the shellfish. And then if I am cooking a protein plus fat, I use 0-calorie cooking spray. Guess what? Protein plus fat already has fat in it. I don't need to add fats to it. So I use 0-calorie cooking spray. All right. So we've got these cooking oils. When you are using these oils, we use them for 3 reasons only: cooking, cooking in a recipe, and making salad dressings. Never feel like you need to get it in. Okay. This isn't something you need to get in. It's just your swap. It's your simple swap for oil. Now, we aren't going to take it as a supplement. We don't put it in bulletproof coffee. We don't add it to shakes randomly. 1 tablespoon still has 130 calories in it, okay? But it burns quickly, so it's not going to have that much of an impact on there. And because it burns quickly, it has a thermogenic effect, so it will help you burn a few extra calories. But just because I'm saying good things about it does not mean, oh, I can drink it down and take it as a supplement and it'll help me burn calories all day. No, we just use it appropriately. Okay. And then Patty says that she feels free from fat and no longer swims in an ocean of inflammation. Praise the Lord for that, because that helps everybody out when they get rid of that. So thank you for telling everybody that, Patty. Condiments. We didn't even talk about condiments last night, but condiments are really important. Condiments are those things that make your food taste like they should. Like if you take chicken and you want it to taste Mexican, put some Mexican seasoning on there. If you want it to taste barbecue, put some barbecue on there. If you want it to taste Italian, you put Italian seasoning on there. So you can take 1 piece of meat like chicken, and based on how you cook it, get so many different flavors. So yes, condiments are important so that we can have delicious tasting food and recipes. Now, with condiments, there are so many things that can be used as condiments that we don't have every single one of them listed in the food library. A lot of condiments are listed in the food library, but not every single one. You may come across something that's not in the food library. So, what we want to teach you is the rule. There's a general rule about condiments. We call it the 5, 2, and few rule. 5, 2, and few. This is a sprinkling, meaning you're not going to use more than 50 calories of it in a meal. We don't want more than 50 calories worth of condiments in a meal. But the 5 and 2 part comes from this. We do not want the condiment to have more than 5 grams of sugar per serving, or more than 2 grams of fat per serving, or and 2 grams of fat per serving. So you want it to have less than that. So the word sugar has 5 letters in it. So that's a good way for you to remember which one is which. Now I'm going to read through this list, and then I'm going to give you a practical application of the 5 and 2 rule. You can use any 0-calorie condiments. You can use 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings. A lot of times that's that little seasoning packet for chili or for tacos, something like that. You can use salt and pepper, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. So there's a nice little list right there, but that is a tiny, tiny list. So one of the things that I buy is I buy Classico traditional pizza sauce to make myself a pizza sandwich or a pizza roll-up and a pizza. So I use the Classico traditional pizza sauce. Normally I buy that at Kroger. Well, I was in Publix because Publix carries a cheese that I like. And I went in there and I thought, I also need to get pizza sauce. And so I just beelined it to the back, and I was going to pick up my Classico traditional pizza sauce because I already know that that's approved. And so I went back there, and guess what? They didn't have what I normally buy. They had 6 pizza sauces on the shelf, but not the one I buy. So I thought, okay, I can either stand here with my phone and go into the food library and manually type in all of those things, which would have taken so much longer, okay? Or I can apply the rule. So what I did was I turned all 6 pizza sauces around on the shelf and I started scanning the sugar content per serving. If it had more than 5 grams of sugar, I turned that one around. It's out of the running. Then I looked at the fat content. If it had more than 2 grams of fat per serving, I turned that one around. Out of the 6, I was left with 2 that met the rule. And so I just picked one and bought it. So that's how you just practically apply the 5 and 2 rule. So you want the item that you purchase to have 5 grams of sugar or less and 2 grams of fat or less per serving. And then you don't want to use more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a meal total. Now, you can use 50 calories worth of condiments on a breakfast, lunch, and dinner combined meal, y'all. Combined meal. We don't typically add condiments to meal replacements. You don't really need that. So we're talking like combined meals. Now, you can do 50 calories breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you wanted to. But if you take that, that's 150 calories. And then if you take that over 21 meals in a week, it adds up to be 1,050 calories that we could have had fewer if we just got a little bit pickier about when we use condiments or the condiments that we use. So you are allowed to use them. I'm just telling you, just be careful. And if you're using a meal replacement, you don't really need to add them to that. Okay. Now, let's say that you want more than one condiment on a meal. Maybe you make yourself a hamburger patty that's approved and you want some cheese on it. Well, if you get the right cheese, I'm just going to say Borden fat-free because that's my favorite fat-free cheese, the Borden brand. That's about 30 calories. Well, that means I've used up 30 of my 50. Well, I can put mustard on there. Typically, mustard is 0 calorie. I've seen some that are 5, but typically they're 0. And then let's say I want to add some ketchup. Well, I'd have 20 calories left of ketchup. So I could get cheese, mustard, ketchup on there. So you can play around with whatever condiments you like, but you don't want to go more than 50 calories worth of condiments on a meal. You can have multiple condiments, but when you're buying condiments, make sure they meet that 5 and 2 rule. All right, so let me know if you have any questions about that at all and any questions about the oils. The oil that I suggest that you purchase is called Zero Drag. Yes, it is sold in our store, but we know that's the one that we like the best. What do we sell in our store? We sell in our store the things that we really personally use. It's there for convenience, really for us and other people that our members find that it's a convenience thing. So that's why we have a store. We have one store in the world. It's in Kennesaw, Georgia. Our shipping department, though, is not in Kennesaw. It's in Dalton. It comes out of Dalton, but there's no actual walk-in store there. Okay, so now we're going to start looking at foods. Category 1, lean protein. Now there's 7 categories of foods, okay? Category 1 is a lean protein. You may see the abbreviation LP on our combination chart. You can do 2 to 8 ounces. Ladies, it'd be best if we did 2 to 6 ounces. Men can go up to 8 ounces. Now, personally, though, I've never even measured ounces. I just put it underneath my hand. This is my protein hand, and I don't want it any thicker than the thickest part of my hand. Oops. And I eat it. But if you are a weigher, a measurer, you like to know those things, there you go. So egg whites work. Fish. See, this is all fish is right here. All fish. Chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef franks and 96% lean ground meat. Let me let my dog out. So if you like any of those foods that I just called out, please write them down, okay? So let's talk about some of these things. 96% lean ground meat. That could be beef, chicken, turkey. You just want it to be 96% lean ground or more, or higher in the percentage. And then let's look at right here. Low-fat cottage cheese and fat-free cottage cheese. They're both right here in the category 1. But full-fat cottage cheese is actually on the lifestyle. You would just find it over in the protein plus fat category because there's more fat in it. And then the reason that boar's head is specifically listed is because we know it's a lean deli meat. And a lot of times when people are just getting started, they're like, just tell me what I can buy at the store, some quick things. Okay, just go to the boar's head. We know that it's leanest. But there is a lot of approved deli meat in the food library. Then we have pork tenderloin. Most pork products are a category 4 protein plus fat, but you'll find some Canadian bacons in this category 1 lean protein, and you will find this pork tenderloin. I would like to make the suggestion of if you see any visible fat on the pork tenderloin, go ahead and trim it off because we do use these category 1 lean proteins to keep us safe. To keep us safe when we're combining it with foods that bring an insulin release. Okay, so I would trim off any visible fat there. And you'll notice that these two, chicken and turkey, it says breast there. The reason it says breast is because that is the leanest meat. So sometimes when I'm talking to people and they say, I'm going to have chicken and green beans, I will, which that would work no matter what. But I always like to just clarify what kind of chicken. And I kind of make them say chicken breast if they're calling it a lean protein. But if you're saying dark meat chicken or chicken with skin, those are protein plus fats. Okay, so you just want to be aware of that. All right, so last night on the 7 categories, remember I had you circle 5 of them. If you were not with me last night, these are the 5 that I want you to circle. If you wrote down the numbers, circle number 1, number 2, number 4, number 6, and number 7. So the 2 you are not circling are 3 and 5. Okay, you can eat the ones that you circled alone. You don't even have to combine them at all, and you could have a meal. Now, you're still just going to do like what's under this hand. It doesn't mean you fill up 2 handfuls, okay? You still eat the protein. It's just that sometimes it's important to know what you can do because we try to teach you how to eat in all different situations because you aren't always going to find yourself in the perfect eating situation. I go to a lot of luncheons and sometimes I look at this food and I go fat bus, fat bus, fat bus. Oh, good. They've got chicken and I'll eat the chicken at a luncheon somewhere where you aren't in control as much over the food. So you just got to know what to do when you're in all those situations, but you can eat a category 1 lean protein by itself. Now, if somebody else has fixed it, you really need to call that a category 4 protein plus fat though, because you don't know what oil they cooked it in. And basically they can take chicken breast, which is a lean protein. And if they cook it in unapproved oil, they've just turned it into a protein plus fat. Y'all give me some thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So what this is saying is that you can pick something from the category 1 column. If it needs to be cooked up in an appropriate oil, then you can cook it up in the right oil and you can doctor it up with some condiments and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. And that's pretty simple, isn't it? You can do simple. I don't think you have to do simple for the whole rest of your life or anything, but it's not a bad idea to stay simple in your first week and then say, okay, what else can I add? What can I do? And you continue to learn. All right, we have a new category. Category 2, fibrous carbs. Half a cup up to 1 cup. In weight loss mode, I would highly suggest that we stick around half a cup. But this is my hand. This is my fibrous carb hand. So if I'm doing a lean protein and a fibrous carb, I put my hands together as close as possible, close my fingers up, lower my hands down over my food, and I look. Can I see my food sticking out? If I can't, I'm good to go. My lean protein is going to be under here. My fibrous carb is going to be under here. And that's how I'm going to eat. Now, so because I've never measured it, I just put it underneath and oops, I can't see it. Good. Broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles, green beans. Now, I want to say right here that we also have over 60 approved bread or bread type items in this category. Less bread is always best, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes, though, about which ones you can have. But this is typically a hallelujah moment for most people, that there's bread on the lifestyle, that you do not have to give it up. And there's quite a few here in this category 2 column. And you might be wondering, how could a bread actually fit into this column? Well, all of the nutrition in that particular bread works out. In fact, it breaks down in your body more like a green bean. And so that's why it works for this column. Okay. So what this is at its very basic is you're going to pick something from this column and you're going to pick something from this column. And you can cook it up in the right oil if it's something that should be cooked up, and then doctor it up with the right condiments. And this is combining foods. So you're taking a lean protein. It really doesn't have any fat in it. You're taking a fibrous carb. It doesn't really have any fat in it. This meal does not elevate your blood sugar. In fact, it has a good impact on your blood sugar. Okay. So this is a good fat burning meal. Now, if you've been listening to some videos and you were here with me last night, which one of these oils would make a meal? Let's just keep it simple, chicken breast and green beans. What oil would make this be the fastest fat burning combination? MCT. That's right. That's right, Amy, Melanie. Awesome. MCT. Thank you, Tori. Good, good. Okay. Awesome. Glad y'all are listening. So that would make it be your fastest fat burning combination. And if you want the quick and easy way to journal this in your journal, you would just write chicken breast and green beans in the part that asks about the food. And then it says, what categories are these things in? Well, you'd write chicken breast, green beans, and MCT. You could just write 1 plus 2 plus MCT. But you know what I do? I leave out the pluses. I mean, every little thing that I can just do to be quick and easy so that I know, I just write 1, 2 MCT because it just is easier to type in. But you can do it however you want to. If you do not want to use numbers, if somehow the numbers don't click in your head, then you can just physically write in LP for lean protein and FC, and then MCT. You could write in letters. And if letters don't click, you can write in lean protein, fibrous carb, MCT oil. Okay, so you can write it however you want to in your journal. We're going to scroll down again. We have now come to category 7, shellfish, which is really just a what? Category 7 shellfish is really just a, yep, that's right, Amy. Lean protein. So if you'll remember, all fish is in just your category 1 lean protein, but all the other critters that live in water, even if they don't have a shell, we just put them in this category, okay, shellfish category. 2 to 8 ounces would be your amount again. Crab, lob, it does say not imitation. The reason it says that is there are some imitation ones approved, but you need to be very careful with how they are listed in the food library, because sometimes those fillers are things that would bring an insulin release, okay? Lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. So all of those things are approved. You can cook them up in whatever oil you want to. You can doctor them up with the right condiments and have an excellent fat burning meal. Like I said, a lot of ghee butter is used when you're cooking those because people like to dip crab legs in butter or dip lobster tail in butter or make a shrimp scampi. So that's where this ghee butter definitely comes in handy. So we're going to scroll down a little bit more. Now we are putting together category 7 shellfish with category 2 fibrous carb. So maybe you want to have some lobster and asparagus. That would be a nice little meal. Then maybe you've cooked that all up in ghee butter, doctor it up with some condiments, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. So we have a new category now. Category 4, protein plus fat, and 2 to 6 ounces. Now you'll remember it was 2 to 8 ounces on the lean proteins. Well, let me explain why. In 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories. In 1 gram of fat, there's 9. So you don't need quite as much here to get the same amount of calories as you were with the other one. So 2 to 6 ounces. This is where your whole eggs are, all cuts of steak, pork ribs, beef ribs, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean, and turkey kielbasa, as long as no more than 50% of the calories come from fat. So this is a short list, obviously, of the protein plus fat. Let's talk about this one right here. In the lean protein, it was 96% or higher for the percentage, but right here, this is 93 up to 95.9. If it is less than 93% lean, it is not approved for a Shibboleth perfect day, because if it's less than 93% lean on that ground meat, what they've done is they've taken a whole bunch of fat and added a little bit of meat to it. So if something says, oh, it's 85% lean, it's kind of a weird little marketing thing that they do. It's really not that lean, okay? So it's just the way they get away with marketing it. So just know 93 to 95.9 is a protein plus fat. If it's less than 93, that would be a holiday. You can still eat it. You just have to choose to eat that on a holiday. Okay, and so what you would do is you pick something from category 4 and you eat it with something from category 2, doctor it up with the right condiments. Now, let me just tell you what this is, because I'm going to mention some bread right here. I like to fry up 2 whole eggs and have a piece of approved category 2 toast with a little bit of Brummel and Brown yogurt butter on it. So I got fried eggs, I salt and pepper them, and I fry them in 0-calorie cooking spray. That's what I use this, because this already has good fats in it. I don't need to add fats to it. I get an approved category 2 bread, and I use no more than 50 calories of Brummel and Brown yogurt butter. And guess what that looks like? A breakfast that I would have eaten before Shibboleth, but it was a fat storing breakfast instead of a fat burning breakfast. It's amazing that we can simply swap our bread and our butter and then cook that up in 0-calorie cooking spray, which many of us were doing before anyway. But you have a fat burning instead of a fat storing meal. Now I'm going to point something out on this little sheet. All of the plus signs above have had a plus sign and a flame. That just means that those combinations are excellent for fat burning. But down here, this is just a plus sign. This does not mean that it's bad for fat burning. It means that it's great for fat burning. It's just that if you want what's a little bit more excellent, then you would choose something like that. Okay. So that's why the plus sign changed. You'll also notice that there was a column right before the condiments on all the ones above. Which column is no longer there? That's right, Amy. The oils are no longer there. They're not there because you've already got fat in this. You don't need to add more fat to this. So that's where you would choose to use that 0-calorie cooking spray, water, or whatever type of cooking, dry cook it. Sometimes I hear people put a little bit of water in there and cook it like that. But you don't, or 0-calorie cooking spray, I'd probably use that. But you just don't need more oils here. You've already got fat in it. You'll just be adding calories that really weren't that important. So I'm going to come down here. We've got category 6, superfood. Now, category 6 superfood is something that can be eaten by itself. What makes a food a superfood? Who remembers that from last night? What makes a food a superfood? That's right, Melanie. Contains all of the macronutrients. So it has water in it. It has protein. it has fat, and it has carbs. So it's like its own little combination. It's got all of them in it, and it works as a superfood, so it can be eaten by itself. Now, I'm going to read out some beans here, and it's got an amount next to it. This amount is listed there if you're eating it by itself. Okay. Pintos, 1 cup up to 1.5 cups. Black beans, red beans, soybeans. In your category 6 superfood, most of your darker colored beans are here. All right. Then this is also where you're going to find all of your nut butters, your nuts, seeds, avocados. Okay. And you can eat it by itself, and you can doctor it up with the right condiments. But you'll also notice that that oils column is gone again. You don't really need it. Now, I've seen some combinations on, there's some combinations on the the beginner first 7 to 10 day chart that's got some MCT oil on it. That's okay. You could do that, but I don't. I don't, because I don't, these carbs that are in here, they vary. So I don't put oils with these myself, but you wouldn't be wrong if you used let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going into the fast track real quick, and I want you to see something. In lap 2, right here where it shows you the combination chart, see right here where it's listing out some things with some 6 in it, and it tells you can use MCT oil. That's the only one right there. It's telling you you can do that. I just don't. I come over here in lap 7, and I mean lap 6, and when I look at the advanced combination chart, which by the way, y'all can go ahead and use this if you want to. It doesn't have MCT oil listed with any 6s. So I just kind of go with the one that is just a smidge more restrictive to make sure that I'm getting my best results, okay? All right, so we're going to scroll down again. We now have category 6 with category 2. So it's superfood with the fibrous carb. Travis likes to say this is where you can find your greens and beans. And for those of you that don't know, our Travis is our founder. So he says you can find your greens and beans here. But you know what I like to tell people they can find right here? A peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you get an approved peanut butter. Peanut butters that do not have hydrogenated vegetable oil in them are typically approved. Now, there is kind of a little hierarchy of peanut butters. So the peanut butters that are really best to use are the Better Than Peanut Butter is a good brand, Nuts and More, and Peanut Butter and Company. So if you're a peanut butter fan, I would write those 3 down, and in that order. Better Than Peanut Butter is the one that's the best for you, and then Nuts and More, and then Peanut Butter and Company. But let me explain how this is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Peanut butter, 2 tablespoons for a meal, unless you're eating the Better Than Peanut Butter. The Better Than Peanut Butter one, you can actually have 4 tablespoons. It's the only one that allows you 4 tablespoons. So if you are looking for quantity in peanut butter, it would be that one. Okay, then you get a category 2 fibrous carb bread, and you use a sugar-free jelly. We also have a low sugar Smuckers listed in there, and there is that stevia stevia sweetened good jam. Okay, peanut butter and jelly sandwich right here. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. We have a new category here. Category 3 energy carb. Ding, 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 ding. We must eat this with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Let's see, Amy. For dill pickles, should I always consider it a category 2 or a freebie when journaling? Okay, great question. Thank you. When you are eating dill pickles as part of a combined meal, you call it a category 2. We do not put freebies with meals. Freebies are eaten only in a moment of mental weakness. It is not part of a combined meal. So that was a great question. So if you're eating the pickles as part of a combined meal, call it a category 2. If you're eating the pickle because you were going to give in on your perfect day, you call it a freebie. Okay. We don't put freebies with meals though. All right. So category 3 energy carb, 1/4 cup up to 1/2 cup. When you are in weight loss mode, quarter cup is best. You're welcome. You're welcome. So all potatoes are here, whether it's a white potato or a sweet potato, all potatoes are here. Oatmeal, steel cut oats, Quaker, the fiber and protein oatmeal, long grain brown rice, most lighter colored beans. Remember how I said most of your darker colored beans are category 6 superfood? Well, most of your lighter colored ones are category 3. But the reason that I want people to specifically look up in the food library the types of beans that they like is because there's the occasional bean that's a lighter color that's a superfood. And you just want to be aware of the ones that you personally like. Okay. So let's say that you like navy beans. It's a superfood, although it's a lighter bean. All peas are here, all peas, except for, and y'all write down any of these little things I say except for the chickpea, which is also a lighter colored garbanzo bean. You know, some things just like to not follow the rules, right? But all the other peas are here. Tomato is here, onion is here, carrots, whole wheat and whole grain pasta. Now, I'm not going to talk about the whole wheat and whole grain pasta right now because we can go over that tomorrow night when we're going through the food library. But I want you to know that you have better options than just a whole wheat or whole grain pasta. And I'm going to list out a couple of them right now, and just in case somehow you miss tomorrow night. Explore Cuisine. Write down Explore Cuisine. Fiber Gourmet. And if somebody wants to type these in for me, that's fine. Fiber Gourmet, and then Carbonata. So those are the 3 pastas that are going to be, I think, better options than just a regular whole wheat or whole grain pasta. Carrots, it's always very surprising. People are like, carrots? Why? I can't believe carrots aren't a fibrous carb. Well, carrots, when they're cooked, are more sugary. And so you've got to consider that an energy carb because it'll elevate your blood sugar, okay? And but if you're wanting to eat some little raw baby carrots, you can have a palmful of those raw baby carrots. That's actually just considered a freebie. But when I talk about freebies, what I want you to do is not think, oh, I can eat you. Technically you could, but we are trying to get away from grazing. So I still like to consider freebies in a reasonable amount. Do that first and then see if you needed to go anymore. So a little palmful of those raw baby carrots would work as a freebie. But if it's cooked, it's got to be a category 3 energy carb. So onion and tomato. That's another thing. Tori, I would not combine raw carrots. Oh, excuse me. If you wanted to combine a raw carrot and consider it a carrot, you could put that with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. You can do that. I just wouldn't consider them I wouldn't call them say, oh, I'm using this as a freebie. I can put it with a protein plus fat. You wouldn't eat carrots with a protein plus fat anyway. So, but if you wanted to combine raw carrots with a 1 and a 2, that's fine. That's fine. I just always like to explain that once they're cooked, they have the sugar. And if you want to have something as a little freebie to munch on, it would need to be the baby raw carrots. But yeah, you can. Okay, tomato and onions. A lot of times people like to use tomato or onion, a little thin slice of it, as a condiment, right? So what we need to think about is if you are using enough tomato or onion that's going to add up to be like a quarter of a cup, that needs to be thought of as an energy carb so that you eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. But if you were just having a thin little slice of tomato, hey Dana, or a thin little slice of onion, then you can put that on your like a hamburger. You know, if you wanted to dress up your hamburger with that, you can do that. Okay, so let's talk about this energy carb. I want to make sure that we've got the science down. Energy carb, we need to train ourselves. Ding, 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 ding. I must eat this one with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's just say that you want to have some field peas. You're going to do about a quarter of a cup of field peas. See, if I'm not using a measuring cup, it's going to fit about right there, okay? And I'm going to eat that with a lean protein. Let's just say I make myself a 96% lean ground meat hamburger, and let me just put some green beans on my plate. My hamburger patty fit there. My green beans fit there. Okay. You could eat carrots with a 7, but you would also need a category 2 fibrous carb with that, Tori. Okay. So that meal, the field peas that you eat are going to elevate your blood sugar. Your pancreas is going to secrete insulin. So you have learned I must combine this way because I know I need to eat in a way that controls insulin. So the protein in that hamburger patty, the 96% lean ground beef hamburger patty, and the fiber in the green beans are going to neutralize the insulin release that comes from the field peas. You have just used food as medicine. This is a good thing. You want to be able to control insulin and neutralize insulin with food. That is wonderful. Okay. This keeps people off meds. This is the thing that gets people off of medications, gets people off of that metformin and other things. This is what does it when you eat in the right combination. Also, though, think about this. At a quarter of a cup of field peas, did you overeat field peas? No, you didn't. You didn't overeat field peas, okay? But it did elevate your blood sugar and you dealt with it with the food that you ate. But you didn't give your body so many field peas that it couldn't be, you can't use food to neutralize it, all right? Now you're going to notice that those oils are not right here either because there's really no fat in these energy carbs. It's just that they're the catalyst to fat storage if you eat them with it. There's no fat in fibrous carbs, and there's really no fat in lean protein, okay? But if you put an oil or you cook some chicken in an oil, that type of thing with it, then you're going to store it. It's going to store the fat. It'll store the oils. So that's why there's no oils listed right here. Now, this is where I would use my 0-calorie cooking spray if I was doing that, okay? So we have to eat that way. Category 5, fruit. All fruit is in fruit. I'm going to read the top 4 here because if you want to have fruit in weight loss mode, these are the best. Berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit because they are the lowest on the glycemic index. Okay, that means they have the least sugar in them. But now fruit still has fructose in it. Fructose is a natural sugar. There's lots of good things and good qualities about fruit. But if you are currently in the nutritional situation that you have excess body weight that you want to get rid of, we've got to treat fruit special. Fruit should not be eaten alone in weight loss mode because it elevates your blood sugar. Insulin will come out to deal with that blood sugar elevation. And if you eat anything around that that's got fat in it, it's getting stored. Okay, so that's why we want to make sure that fruit is eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Once you get to maintenance, you can eat fruit by itself as a snack, but if you're eating it with a combined meal, you should still eat it with a combined meal properly, okay? So there's no oils here either because your blood sugar is going to elevate. It would capture any oils, all right? And so let's say that you want to have a small orange. Maybe you do some egg white spinach omelet. Maybe you have a Greek plain yogurt with some hemp flakes in it. We haven't really talked about that. Oh, well, this is real popular. Greek plain yogurt with hemp flakes and berries. That makes a nice little parfait. So you could do that. That would be great. But there's lots and lots of combinations. This is why if each of you personally writes down all of the lean proteins, fibers, carbs, and so forth, category 1 through 7 that you like, you then just look at your combination chart and go, okay, I pick something from this one and something from this one. I can put something from this one, and this one. And you start building meals. And we're going to go over a worksheet tomorrow that'll help you do that. Okay, so what we're going to go over now in our remaining time is just some other things that you can use with cooking. So we have, so the question is, can you eat strawberry flavored approved yogurt? If it's approved, yes. If it's an approved yogurt, you can have a strawberry flavor of it. Yes, you can do that. So category 2 breads, less bread is best. And you don't want to do more than 100 calories of bread in a meal. So you could do the La Tortilla Factory, 50-calorie tortillas, the Olay Extreme Wellness, high fiber tortillas, Healthy Life bread, Bran Crisp bread, Healthy Life hot dog buns, Thomas Light, the 100-calorie English muffins, all of those work as a category 2 fibrous carb. These things have enough fiber in them and low enough calorie to break down in your body like a green bean. That's good news. Okay. Now, I like the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber tortillas. I do make sure that I buy the 50-calorie ones because there are some 80-calorie ones too, and you really don't need them that big. If you did buy them that big, you could probably cut them in half and use and just have 40 calories. And then Bran Crisp bread is really like a drier cracker. I really like them. They come in sunflower seed, pumpkin seed, a regular, just plain, and then there is a honey raisin, I think. So that's very good. We sell those in the store. Approved sweeteners. It's your preference, but any 0-calorie sweetener works. All right, approved beverages. Well, first of all, nothing takes the place of our water. We've got to get our water in every single day. Now, a minimum would be 4 of these, okay, half a gallon, which is 64 ounces, but be shooting for a gallon. I can tell you from experience, you are more mentally and physically satisfied if you are getting that water in. And the more water you get in, the less you're thinking about food, and it's easier to get through those beginning days where you're starting to really hone in and change your habits. That water's going to be your best friend, okay? So nothing takes the place of your water. But you can have other 0-calorie beverages. What I do is when I drink a lot of water at home, so when I go out to a restaurant, I will use, I'll just get some unsweet tea, and then I like to use this monk fruit sweetener in it, or, whatever sweetener you might want to use. You can use unsweet or approved tea. You can also have coffee. Black coffee is totally fine, and you can have coffee with 15 calories of approved sweetener as well. You can do that. And let's have a look at cheese. All of this cheese falls into a category on its own, but we're kind of talking about using it, as a condiment. You never want to use more than 50 calories of condiments. Now, remember earlier I said that you could use Borden fat-free cheese in combination with some mustard, some ketchup, maybe even a thin slice of onion if you wanted to. Now, any fat-free cheese is also a category 1. But look right here. There's this little guy right here listed right in the middle. The Cabot Extra Light Cheese. It's a block cheese that's really nice cheese. It's a category 4 protein plus fat. So it's got more fat in it, and so it's got to go in that category. Lean protein milk. This is very important to know. So if you eat cereal, you got to know about this milk. If you drink milk, you got to know about this milk. Fat-free Fairlife milk and Kroger Carb Master milk. Both of these are fat-free. Both have extra protein in them. And both of them are lactose-free, so you don't really have any lactose in them. You can use a category 1 lean protein milk as a category 1. Or you can have it by itself as a category 1. Sometimes people will take the fiber and protein oatmeal because it's a 2 and 3 together. Now, I hope I didn't blow anybody's mind, but some of these things are multiple things in one. How is something a category 2 and a category 3 together? It has enough fiber, but it also has energy carb properties in it too, and it's a 2 and 3 together. Well, you can't eat a 3 without having a 1 and a 2. So if that oatmeal is a 2 and a 3, what do you need with it? You need a 1 with it. You just have a glass of that milk, and there you go. you've got a little meal. Now, I do want to say in my opinion, that is probably not your fastest weight loss thing. If you can do it, I just wouldn't stick with it for every single meal at breakfast. I would do some things that are better on. We'll talk about this tomorrow night, the weight loss meter. I would do some things that are even better on the weight loss meter. Weight loss meter just means foods are categorized for better than for weight loss or better for kept in maintenance. We do have the option to use breadings and flours. So I don't know about you, but I like to lightly bread some chicken and cook it up in some MCT oil with some seasoning. I do that a lot in the oven. It's very good. Coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's Red Mills TVP, textured vegetable protein, almond flour. So all of these things are a category 2 fibrous carb. Now, let me talk about this Carb Quick real quick. This Carb Quick is basically like Bisquick, but it's a category 2 fibrous carb. You'll notice that it's not spelled with a CK at the end. So when you are looking this up in the food library, make sure that you don't type that CK because it won't pull it up. But when you buy Carb Quick, Betsy, I buy the light Cabot cheese at Publix. That's the only place I found it, Publix. Ingles, maybe I found it there before, but I usually buy it at Publix. So the Carb Quick flour, they have recipes on their box. They did not take into account the other Shibboleth rules and guidelines. So I wouldn't use the ones on the box, but you can use the ones from our website. Now watch this. If I click right there, this takes me to our store and I can buy it right here in our Shibboleth store. That's not where I was wanting to take it. I was wanting it to take me to the food library. But you can put this in a cart and you can buy it. We actually have something. Oh, while I'm there, let me just show you this. If you are looking to have some staples in your kitchen, there is this recipe starter kit, which is really good. You would get Carb Quick, MCT oil, and ghee butter. And these are those things that are good to have in your pantry so that when you're in the recipe library online, that you just go ahead and have them. So there's a recipe starter kit. And anything $30 or more in our store ships for free. Okay, let's talk about this cereal real quick, and we're going to wrap up because I'm not going to talk about restaurants tonight. We're going to talk about that a lot on a different night this week. But just know we've got lots of restaurants on there. But really, you can learn how to eat at any restaurant, any. Cereals, 1 up to 1.5 cups. Kashi Go Lean, K's Natural Cereal, and High-Low Nutritious Living. Please know that is a small, small list. Cereals, and we're going to talk more about this tomorrow night, but cereals, the full list of cereals in the food library are broken down into 2, what we call phases, phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal. Please don't let that confuse you at all. Phase 2 is not like you're moving into a higher level of quality. It's opening up more variety. So your phase 1 cereals are going to be your higher quality, better for weight loss cereals. Because when you get into phase 2, we got Captain Crunch in there. You've got to inherently know that that's not necessarily better for weight loss, okay? But this is where this is very, very important. If you are going to have a phase 2 cereal, you must have it with this lean protein milk because even an approved phase 2 cereal is still starchy, and we have got to make sure that we don't have any fat with that. So these are fat free, and we want to make sure that we have enough protein in that to offset that. And so that's why you use that milk. If you drink almond milk, like unsweetened almond milk or an approved soy milk or something, that you just need to know, those are a category 4 protein plus fat, and they can be had with a phase 1 cereal, but not a phase 2 cereal. Okay, we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. But honestly, in the food library, we leave nothing to chance. We tell you all the details about every single item. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I hope that you have learned something. Please know that you can go back to this worksheet. I mean, that link and see, you can see what we did, and you can kind of combine foods from there, which is great. And we're going to hop off of here. But if you want to see our friend Julie Mirandino, you're welcome, Phyllis. Glad you were here. Our friend Julie is doing the How I Overcame Food Addiction and Lost Weight webinar tonight. And let me show you how to register for that if you don't know yet. You're going to go to the Shibboleth website, and right here on the pink online webinars tab, you click there, and then you can register right here, and you would register. That would take you. You're welcome, Dana. You're welcome. And you can click right there and you'll register. Now, the reason that you want to register and you're a Shibboleth member is because you get a badge. We like our digital badges. You get a badge for participating, and then for every webinar that you register for and then attend for at least 20 minutes, they give you your number increases on your badge. So it's really just for fun. Those of you that have found me on Facebook tonight and have been listening in, please know that you can get a membership at shibbolethdeals.com. And currently, for a limited time offer, it is $69 for a lifetime. Okay, so you would have access to all the fun things that I'm going to start talking about tomorrow night, starting with the food library. And y'all will join me for 7:30 Tuesday through Saturday night for all of Fast Track. Let's see. I know that y'all were commenting as I was heading out. Thank y'all for being here with me. You're welcome, Valerie. You're welcome. All right. I'm heading over to watch Julie. I hope you do too. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.